You ever just like stop and think about breathing? It's just
Yeah.
something we do, right?
Right.
Our bodies just kind of take care of it. But imagine if every breath, I mean, every single one, felt like a struggle.
Yeah,
Like you were working really hard just to get air in.
I can't imagine.
That's the reality for millions of people living with a condition called pulmonary fibrosis.
And September is Pulmonary Fibrosis Awareness Month.
Exactly. And today we're going to do a deep dive into this condition. We're going to try to understand what it is, why it matters, and what everyone should know. So, pulmonary fibrosis, what is it exactly?
Well, the name itself is actually pretty descriptive. Pulmonary, that refers to the lungs.
Okay.
And fibrosis means scarring.
Scarring. Okay.
So pulmonary fibrosis is essentially when scar tissue forms in the lungs.
So those delicate tissues in our lungs, the ones that help us breathe, they become thick and stiff.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
Imagine like trying to breathe through a straw.
Yeah.
That tightness in your chest, struggling to get air in. That's what it can feel like for people with pulmonary fibrosis.
That's got to be really scary.
It is. And, one of the things that makes this condition particularly challenging is that in many cases, it's hard to know exactly what causes the scarring.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a mystery.
Exactly. A mystery.
Wow.
We know that certain things like exposure to certain types of dust, asbestos, for example,
Right.
or even some medications, can trigger it.
Mm.
But often, the exact cause remains unknown. And that's what we call idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis.
Idiopathic. So what can someone do? I mean, if they're worried about this.
Well, that's where awareness comes in.
Okay.
Because even though we don't always know the cause, early diagnosis is crucial.
So how do you even know if you have it?
Well, there's some key symptoms to watch out for. Persistent shortness of breath, for one.
Okay.
A dry cough that just won't quit. And unusual fatigue, especially during any kind of physical activity.
So if you're experiencing any of those things,
Don't ignore them.
talk to your doctor.
Exactly.
Because early diagnoses can really make a difference.
A huge difference. The sooner treatment can begin, the better the chances of slowing down the progression of the disease.
And improving quality of life.
Absolutely.
This has been really eye-opening. I have to admit, I didn't know much about pulmonary fibrosis before we started this deep dive.
It's not something we hear a lot about, but it affects a significant number of people.
So this September, for Pulmonary Fibrosis Awareness Month,
Let's all take a moment to appreciate those easy breaths and learn a little more about keeping our lungs healthy.
and if you're looking for more information on pulmonary fibrosis, we'll be sure to share some links in the show notes. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.